Okay, today I want to tie a teal, blue and silver. It's a lovely fly, a very good fly for sea trout and also for trout, and it takes the odd salmon if they're about. It's quite an old fly, and I think is a very attractive fly. However, teal wings can drive you mad. The wing is from the teal duck. They tend to twist and what have you. I persevere with them if someone wants me to tie the original teal, blue and silver. But personally speaking, I tend myself now to use a wing of squirrel tail for my own use. I don't find any difference, but I want to tie for you the original tie-in. I'm on a size 8. Let me make sure the hook. No, it's a size 10 partridge hook, which is pretty good all round for sea trout in our rivers. And the silk on this is red. At least it's a red. It's a red head on the fly, which is the only part of the silk you will see. Okay, I'll just get things going here. Start the silk just behind the eye, 3 winds forward, 1, 2, 3, 3 winds back at least, and then take the silk down to the bend of the hook. About there, because I'm going to apply a tail. Now the tail on this fly is from the golden, it's called a tippet, and it's from the head of the golden pheasant. The golden pheasant gives us some lovely feathers. You may have earlier seen me use the, not the tippet, the crest for the tail on some flies. A natural, beautiful feather. And we'll use some of this. This is one I've been using. I've pulled some off it before. So I'm going to cut some in. Now with most feathers, when you tie them in, you would draw them down. But with this feather, they're all lined up anyway, so you don't sort of draw them down. So they stay as they are. Okay, here we go. I'll cut off this. Tail, about the length of the body, so it's about there. And I tie it in like that. Now, this body has, it's a silver body with a rib. I'm going to apply the rib at this stage. It's medium oval tinsel. Tie it in on the side. I'm going to give a good length. You can see it's going pretty well up the body, because otherwise we'll get steps. Now if you're putting a herl body or a fur body, the steps wouldn't matter too much, or a wool body. The steps wouldn't matter too much, but this is going to have a silver tinsel body. So we want it sort of fairly even. If you keep tying things in by the tail and cutting them off, you'll have a step, and it won't be easy to get a nice even body. Now I'm going to take the silk up towards the eye, fairly close turns. I don't need to do touching turns as such. And at this stage, I'm going to tie in the body, because with this flat tinsel, I'm going to wind it twice, down and back, which I think is the best way to do it. So I've tied that off. It's duo tinsel that you see me using quite a bit, gold and silver. Always tie in with the wrong side towards you. In other words, if you want a silver body, you have the gold facing you, because when you tie it in, it turns over. A lot of flies have a gold body, and then you would have the the silver facing you. Now I'm going to apply a bit of varnish on the shank of the hook, because this will help it to stick. Not too much. I'm using my Sally Hansen hard as nails varnish, and I'll just give it a little bit of a paint like that. I tend to apply varnish my side only because I tend to use my finger the far side of the hook when I wind. Now I'm going to go down and back up. When you do it double like this, it seems to give a bit more of a sparkle to the fly, and also if you've left any gaps, they get covered on the second winding, which I'm now doing, as you go back up. Now the varnish I put on has sort of squeezed out of the joints of the first layer and is helping to stick the second layer over. So that comes up like that, and I will secure it just like that and cut it off. I don't know if you can see, but there's a nice sparkle. I'm now going to rib the body. You can add a bit of varnish again if you want to, but I don't do that for the rib very often. If you do, you can run it along the rib like this. Can you see that? On the rib. I don't want anything to take the shine off that body. So I'm now going to rib it. Open turns, spiraling turns, even. This protects the fly, gives it a little bit of attraction, and I take it up to the bend, up to the eye of the hook, just like that, and I secure it. Now, the body is quite dry because I've applied the varnish carefully. If that was all wet, when we put on the throat hackle or the beard hackle, whatever you want to call it, it's the same thing, the hackle would start sticking to the body. Okay, this is the hackle. It's blue. The fly is called a teal, blue and silver. The wing is teal. The throat hackle is blue and the body is silver. Teal, blue and silver. Or some call it silver, teal, blue, or teal, silver, blue, whatever. Okay, I'm going to draw. This is a hen hackle. You can use a cock hackle. It doesn't matter. I'm using this one because it's the right colour. Draw off some of the fibres. Get them up together. Close them up. And apply it underneath. Think I may have a few too many there. You don't want a heavy, bulky fly because the fly always works better. A lean, I won't say sparsely dressed fly, but a lean fly always works a bit well. Right, pinch and loop. So up, underneath, pinch and loop. We tie down the hackle like that. Bit of a press with the thumb to make sure it's in place. Okay, I'm now going to nip off the surplus of the hackle. Got to be careful doing this. Watch you don't cut the silk. So I'm going to move the silk out of the way. Get my scissors up under there. The silk often gets cut. it's something that you can't avoid. Everyone does it on occasions. Okay, so there we've got the hackle. Now comes the best part, the teal wing. Now, to tie a wing, it's the teal wing. It can cause difficulties, and I want to show you what I do. I fold the wing. The old way of doing it was to have two wing slips, but I find it much better to have a folded wing. And the way I'm going to show you is, take this piece of paper as the wing, you fold one to the middle, one half to the centre like that, another bit to the centre, and then down the middle. You see that? Two to the middle and then down. Now that's what I'm going to try to do with the teal wing. Those are the folds. That's how you put it on. So you get a teal feather. This is a teal feather. I've got several here. And you draw down one side like that to sort of get the tips in line. It doesn't matter you don't have to be too fussy about that, but the tips should get somewhere near in line. Once you're at that stage, cut off. I find it better to cut it off with a teal feather than pull it off. And you're left with a sort of a sheet of feather like this. And now this is where I'm going to do the fold. I'm expecting it to be difficult to show you because I normally put it on my knee to fold it. But I'm going to try to do it here. You fold halfway again, and then towards the middle. And that's the wing. I hope you could see that. A little bit of moisture, and there's our wing. Now, the length of the wing is about towards the tail, like that. And I apply it on with a pinch and loop. Now the beauty of the pinch and loop is it draws a feather down rather than pushing it over. Once you've got it on, be careful you don't wind back over it because that can push it over. You can come forward now with the winds and trim off the surplus. Like that. Now, if I was using squirrel, which I tend to use for myself because I do like a hair wing, but my duty really is to show the original true pattern, you'd have a wing like that on it. It's pretty good, it works well, but some of my friends who fish the Ogmo say there's nothing quite like the original. Basically, that's the fly completed. Now we tie down and tidy up and finish off the head. Now we're at that stage, may get a few odd fibres, and I'll just do a whip finish on this one if I can. I just double it over, bit of tension on this one piece of silk, and I wind it around like this. Try not to block the view of the camera. When it's at that stage, I draw it up. Not a bad idea to dip your needle in the varnish as you draw it up. Basically that's it. Cut the silk, gape as usual. Each side of the silk against the fly and gently push. Doesn't matter too much on a wet fly, you can just snip it off. But on a dry fly where you've got those bushy hackles which you want to protect, that's the best way to cut your silk. Okay, final item is to varnish the head, which secures the whole fly. Like that, and like that, and underneath. I think it's a very attractive fly. Sea trout certainly like it. And in a size 8 or 10, it's ideal for our river. A friend of mine, Brian from Cowbridge, even won a competition in a reservoir using this fly. And it's a damn good all-round fly. Numerous salmon have been taken with it. And as I say, the teal wing, I hope it's not too difficult. It's worth practicing. Well-marked teal feathers. They all have a sort of a twist about them, and they drive some people mad. One guy I know even puts them on the ironing board with a damp cloth and tries to iron them to straighten them out. But I find by folding the wing, it's much easier. I hope you picked up a few tips there, and thank you for watching.